Hi guys, it's Miss Dickey. I thought I'd try making a video about the English work that you guys have been doing. So this entire chapter is the punctuation chapter, and probably as you were going through your work last week, you noticed that a lot of this is stuff you've done before. So the first lesson was on ending punctuation, which we've talked about, periods, question marks, exclamation points, and well, those are the three, but you know that periods are for declarative sentences or statements, and they can also be used for commands. The second lesson you did was on capitalization. You've been studying capitalization for years now. This shouldn't be a really hard concept. We talked about common and proper nouns, and proper nouns are the words that are capitalized. You always capitalize the first letter of a sentence. You always capitalize the word I. Believe it or not, there's still some of us out there that when we write a sentence and we use the word I, talking about ourselves, that we lowercase it. It should always be capitalized all the time. The third lesson was on abbreviations. If you look in your book on page 162, days of the week, months of the year, addresses, and units of measurement. So the big thing with the abbreviations is if you look at the section for months of the year, there are not, every single month does not have an abbreviation, because obviously the shortest months you don't abbreviate. So May, June, and July are never abbreviated. The other ones are. There's also a period at the end of all your abbreviations, which I think you could see. What you did, another thing last week, were personal titles and initials. Mr., Mrs., Ms., Doctor, Governor, Captain. Those are all abbreviations we do, and also important, they're always capitalized. Mr., about a man. Mrs., MRS, period, is for a married woman. Ms., capital M, lowercase s, period, is for a woman who might not be married. There is a difference for that. You can use them either one. If you don't know if a woman is married, you would use the capital MS period. Doctor's pretty obvious. I know some of our parents are doctors, so you've probably seen that a lot. And then governor and captain. Captain can be in the military. A captain can be a police officer. Those are all words that we can abbreviate. And then last week we did books and poems. So you underline books and you put quotation marks on poems. So we are starting to talk about different things with quotation marks and apostrophes and commas, and they're all different things. They're a little hard to keep track of. Quotation marks are the ones that go up in the air, and apostrophes are the one we've been using in possessives before the S. And commas are the ones that we're going to start talking about. We've used them before, but our lesson today is talking about commas. And we're going to talk about commas in the direct series. So I'm going to flip it over so you can see the textbook. All right, guys. So commas separate words and groups of words so that they are easier to read. 3 or more groups of words or words of the same kind written one after the other are called a series. So look at some of the examples. I play football, soccer, and baseball. I can already see some of you saying, I do that, I do that. Great, this is how you would write it. I hit, pitch, and catch for my baseball team. Ping, Anna, or Carl will bring a soccer ball. I will play midfielder, forward, or goalie. Okay, notice that we have a comma between every single one of these words. And then the words in red, we just learned about this. Anybody remember what those are called? Conjunctions. We even went to see a play 2 weeks ago on Schoolhouse Rocks, and I hope everybody just started to sing their song in your head. I sure did. So look at A, B, and C. Which sentence uses commas in a series correctly? We need helmets, footballs, and uniforms. So if you look at all three, guys, you should know it's A. You need the comma after helmets. You need the comma after footballs, right before the word and then at the end. Now looking at these, I am bringing balloons, candles, and streamers to the party. We still need to buy cake, ice cream, and milk. Don't forget the wrapping paper, bows, and ribbons. So which one are correct? It is B and C. Cake, comma, ice cream, comma, and milk. Don't forget the wrapping paper, bows, and ribbons. Okay? So commas are actually really important when you're writing about things. And if you think about when we do our writing activities, we need commas in a series. So I'm going to go over here. I know I don't have my board, but I do have a little whiteboard right here. So knowing the difference is that the comma is at the bottom after a word, okay? An apostrophe is what we used when we did possessives. And then quotation marks are the two marks like that we use for poems, quotation marks. Okay, so keeping all three of these straight in your head is a little difficult. So if you need to, you are more than welcome to write these three things down in your journal so you can keep them straight. So quotations is what we did last week when we were writing our poems. Commas, there's a few lessons about commas. Today's the first one for this week. We have used them before, so they should seem pretty familiar, but now I'm officially teaching you how to use them. We've used them in compound sentences. We're going to use them again in series. So your exercises today, exercise 1, 2, and 3, you've got to figure out where to put the commas. So if you look at some of these sentences, well, the exercise 1 is just word groups. It's very jumbled up. If you don't have a comma, you don't know what is what. So quarterbacks, mascot, and fans. The minute you put the commas where they should be, it makes a lot more sense. Quarterbacks, comma, mascots, comma, and fans. So what I want you to do, write these out. And if you have a red pen, I know some of you have many different color pens, go ahead and put the commas in a different color. If you're doing your work in pencil, grab any kind of color pen. If you're writing in black pen, use blue pen. What I want you to do is put the commas in a different color. Same thing for exercise 2. So exercise 2 are actually sentences. And reading the sentence is okay, but when you put all of those words together without the comma, it's a little confusing. So number 1, Olympic Games were held in Beijing, Athens, and Sydney. Well, without the comma, it almost looks like one place. We know that those are two different places, right? Beijing is in China, Athens is in Greece. So your comma is going to go after Beijing, put a comma, Athens, comma, and Sydney. All right, you've got to write the sentences down. You can't just write commas in your journal, guys. You know that's not going to look right. And then exercise 3 down at the bottom. I know you guys, I always like doing this one in class, so I'm kind of bummed out that we're not together because you get to list your favorite sports, some famous athletes I like to play, and at recess. I always like sharing with this one because, of course, I always like hearing about people's favorite sports. I always like hearing about some famous athletes. Some of them are our favorite ones. You guys probably would know who I would put. And then what you like to play and at recess. So go ahead. You can add as many as you want for exercise 3. But the important thing is you make sure you put the commas where they go. All right. I hope this was helpful. Work on this. If you want to share, you can take a picture. You can send it to me. You can send it in an email. I'm not making anybody send me anything. It's a lot of work for your parents sometimes. So I just want to make sure you guys are doing okay. So do these 3 exercises and do your workbook page. And if you have any questions, you know where to reach me, okay? And I know some of you are dying to use different color pens, so go for it, all right? Have a great day, guys. Talk to you later.